Introducing Zentrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zentrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zentrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.
Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing good. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you're interested to check out the AI powered signals, I'm going to drop the link to the Zentrix community Telegram. Check out the Telegram, go to the pinned messages at the top, and you'll be able to find the link at the bottom. I think it's the last pinned message. You'll see the link to the signal service if you are interested. Wide range of signals there, different time frames. If you're interested, check it out. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is well. Raphael, what is up? Aussie yen, we will take a look at that, no problem. Follow the trend, what's up? What's good? Welcome, welcome. I'm doing good. Hope you're well. Currently in gold buys, okay, nice. Intraday buy at 33.65. Okay, we'll take a look. See. Stop loss 60. Take profit 80. Okay, nice. Risk reward, Asian highs as we retest current break structure. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so we'll go through a bunch of markets. I'll take a look at the USD first. DXY, USD majors, gold and silver. Then I'll go through some other requests like Aussie yen for you, Raphael. And if of course you have any other requests, drop it in the chat. And if you have any particular time frames as well, let me know so I can take a look at them for you. But without further ado, let's get into the dollar, which is looking semi-bullish this morning. I was talking yesterday about I'm still very much looking to buy the dollar, but I want to see a little bit more downside, or at least aggressive reaction at this area, because in fairness, we are testing some resistance turn support, which so far is holding, but I'm not quite convinced yet, especially because of how aggressive we were on Friday after NFP. So possibly we might turn bullish from here. I said yesterday I'm looking more so towards this area. If I see some healthy rejection here, maybe if we can get some more wicks or a bigger close on the 4-hour chart, maybe I might have a stab at this area if things look good. If not, I'll wait to see pricing have that deeper reaction. The only reason why I'm looking for the deeper pullback is because of how aggressive we were on the Friday. Typically with my pullbacks, I want them to be slow, corrective. Doesn't have to be perfectly slow or perfectly corrective, but I just don't want it to be too impulsive. And if it is impulsive, then normally I look for deeper correction. So that's the situation I'm in for the dollar. Really aggressive push down. We have started to slow down and start to move sideways, which is a sign that support is holding, but still not quite convinced yet until I see momentum. Or if we can put some more wicks to the downside, maybe a couple fake outs, that would be nice. Yeah, so if things do develop well, maybe if I see a strong close, I might be interested into a buy. It really just depends how the candles form and set up. So that's something I'll decide in the moment, but it is a potential area which we're holding. I would still prefer price to bounce from here, because at that point we'll probably have a much slower corrective pullback at that stage. So things will look naturally a lot healthier. But we'll see if we get there or not. At the moment, we are respecting an area. Of course, we've got the bullish structure in play, which is the low here to the high to the low to the new high, which of course broke through the highs here on the left. And now that's the new structure I'm looking to follow. Look to follow this bullish structure, simply looking for the next pullback and some more upside, whether from this area or this area is yet to be seen. but that's very much the idea I have for the dollar. So still bullish. Long term, I'm still kind of undecided. Higher time frames still look pretty bearish to me. We did see a lot of wick rejection in the last previous weekly candle. So I'm not too sure about a big move, especially with resistance lurking just above us. There's a lot of resistance in this area, previously support, of course. Now turn resistance around 100, 101. So I'm not too sure if the market does get back above that area. Therefore, I'm kind of just keeping it a little bit more short term with my bias and my analysis. But at least for this week anyway, I do like the buys. And I'm looking to see if price can push back to highs there, or just at least a bounce. And we'll see how far we can take the market. But definitely looking for buys for the dollar. Euro USD looking for sells, and it's literally the same situation, just inverted. We had a very aggressive retracement off the back of NFP, so that's kind of put me off looking to jump in straight away into some shorts. Originally, I was looking for the retest of this level. I said on Thursday, I believe, actually on Friday as well, before we had NFP, that I was looking for the retest of this level here. But then, of course, NFP came in really aggressively, and that's kind of put me off the trade a little bit. But things can develop well. We're starting to get some momentum, but I would say nothing convincing, especially taking into consideration how aggressive we were into the level. If it was slow and corrective, I may already be in the trade by now. But because of how aggressive it was, that does put me off. So maybe things can develop here a little bit more. Maybe a bit of a double top forms, bit of a wick, that would be nice. That could convince me into a trade. I'll keep an eye on the DXY to see how that forms at the support level we're trading at now. If not, as I mentioned yesterday, it's still very much like the looks of this consolidation. It's away from the noise, pretty deep retracement. If we were to get there, we would probably become a lot more corrective, and that would tick my boxes very well. And I'll happily get into some shorts and see how far we can take it. So again, Euro, couple of areas to keep an eye on. I'm still not quite convinced of this area just because of how aggressive we've been. That could change if things improve. And again, if we do fall, then we do fall without me. I'm not here to take every trade, just the better ones with which tick my box as well. And retracement, a healthy retracement is one of them. So being patient with Euro, still very bearish, so I know exactly what I'm looking to do, which is short the market. A couple of areas to keep an eye on. I want to see some more rejection here before I do jump in myself. If not, then I'll look for a push into 1.17. But yeah, I'm very much looking to sell Euro USD this week. Pound USD, same situation as well, but I would say Pound USD looks a lot better because we've had some lovely momentum. No really aggressive shift in momentum. Yes, we did see this 4-hour candle, but it wasn't as aggressive as Euro. To me, it looks a lot healthier. So I'm still keeping a close eye on the retest of this level, which was kind of the neckline of the head and shoulder pattern. So you got the left over there, you got your head over there, and you got your right shoulder over there, and of course price smashed through the neckline. So very textbook in terms of the pattern, really. Now the plan is, can we find the next lower high and can we keep shorting this? And that would be the expectation going into the rest of the week. At the moment, not really trading at any area of significance for me, so I'm not getting excited just yet. I'm looking to the left. There's nothing really there that does interest me. So I'm looking for at least a push into 1.337, near enough 1.34, before I become interested in the price action for pound. But as I said, the idea is just basically looking for the next lower high and keep looking to short it. So same idea as Euro. Just I like the price action of pound a little bit more just because it's a bit more cleaner, especially the retracement isn't too aggressive. So I quite like what I'm seeing. But let's wait to see if we can get to that level first before we do get the short. Dollar CAD's interesting. We are still respecting daily support. We have picked up some momentum, but yeah, I'm not quite convinced just because of how aggressive the retracement is. It has put me off, to be honest. But I said this is a very crucial area for dollar CAD because essentially this is the high of the range we've been having for the past few days, few weeks, back and forth. Then eventually we did break to the upside. So now we can just focus pretty much on this level. So if we can stay above this, I do fancy a bit of a rally. There's a big level of resistance just above our heads in this area, around 1.39. So I'm not looking for anything crazy for dollar CAD, but at least a push back to the highs is what I'm favoring. Now we have picked up momentum, but again, because it was so aggressive, that 4-hour candle, I kind of want to see maybe a bit of a double bottom form. maybe some more wicks before I do enter any trades. I'm not quite convinced on the DXY just yet, so I am kind of holding back from jumping into any dollar trades. Dollar CAD's not my favorite dollar pair either. It's not really a pair I'm focusing on too much. I said the three that I like was Euro, Pound, and Aussie. So dollar CAD looks good, but I would rather kind of more development here before jumping into some buys. Again, that was a very aggressive bearish candle on the way down. But the key thing is, as long as we stay above support, I would say the trade is still valid. If price was to break through, then of course I would probably ditch the buys, because at that point this would turn into a big fake out and we might be seeing something like that happen. So I do not want to see dollar CAD break below 1.376. As long as we can hold that, I am fancying a push back into the highs. So that is very much the plan there with dollar CAD. Now with Aussie dollar, a pair which I like a little bit more, is looking a tad bearish, but I don't mind that, because it might be a situation where we're looking a little bit bearish, sucking in some sellers into the trade. Then you're going to see another rally to take them out, take liquidity, and then we see the rollover. That would be a nice setup actually for Aussie dollar. But we've had a lovely breakout of this ascending channel, which has made me very bearish, and I'm looking for a lot more downside off the back of that. My targets is back at the low here around 0.635, so that's what I'm expecting price to get to at the very least. Dropping to the 4-hour chart, I've been talking about a retest of this area of supply, which would be nice. This is where we had that brief kind of support on the low of the trend line before we did break through very, very well. So as I was saying, we've got kind of these early selling opportunities here. I never really want to be in the market first anyway. So if we can go and sweep, then that would be nice. Show some more rejection. That can end up being a really nice short opportunity back into lows, maybe into that daily target as well. But the key thing with Aussie, as long as we don't break back within the range, I'm happy. I'm looking to short the market. If we do break back within the channel, within the range, then it gets a bit awkward. But for now, it's a solid break. Really nice candle there last Wednesday. I don't see price breaking back in, at least not likely anyway. So yeah, expecting us to roll over back into those lows, and hopefully you can find some nice short opportunities around the 0.65 area. New Zealand dollar is probably my least favorite USD pair. Just not a big fan of it at all. And kind of look at this as a big consolidation, really. So yeah, not the biggest fan. I've been talking about this ascending channel here. It's a very slight one, but again, nothing to get overly excited about. New Zealand Aussie dollar is giving us a very similar setup with a similar ascending channel. The breakout's a lot cleaner, the opportunity's a lot cleaner there. So I'd rather just focus with that market instead of New Zealand dollar. They're very similar anyway, so no point to trade them both. But again, naturally with a break of an ascending channel, I do expect to see a bit of a bearish trend form. So I'm pretty bearish on New Zealand dollar as well. Just not a big fan of the setup really, because when we short the market, we do have support right, to our left there, which we're coming into. So there's not a lot of room to trade with, and not room to bet on a continuation. Sure, we could break through, but we might not. I'd rather trade Aussie, which I've got a bit more room to play with, and naturally will give me a better risk to reward. So for those reasons, I'm kind of staying away from New Zealand dollar. A lot of support, very, very messy market. We've had a really a big fall already. I mean, I still do fancy more downside. As long as we don't break back within the channel, I still like it. But like I said, Aussie's a very similar market. I'd rather just put my eggs in that basket there, or any other USD pair for that matter, really. So expecting more downside. Again, just want us to stay below the channel. Don't want to see us break back in. And then from there, I do favor us to keep falling. In terms of gold, so gold I've been pretty neutral on. I highlighted a couple of areas where gold can sell off this week. Of course, we've got the high of the range, which is up here around 34.40, or just shy of that, 34.30. Then we've got two kind of significant areas of support. This is really kind of the low of the range, really. 32.50, 32.60, I would say. Then you've also got support down here, which I've been talking about as a nice place for a bounce as well. So coming into the week, I mentioned a couple of areas where gold could sell off from. I was talking about this area being one and that area being two. This area being the better place to short because it's at the extreme of the range. If price was to break through that, we'd probably have a breakout, so you can kind of be a bit more confident with the shorts there. This is a bit more like an intermediate target. It's not as significant, it's kind of within the range, but still an area which price has shown a lot of respect to in the past as well. And at the moment, we are struggling to break through as well. So I did say last weekend on the weekly analysis that if you do try and have a stab here, I wouldn't try and look for a big swing trade. It's more like a reaction maybe for a day or two, just because we're not situated at a place where I would say, okay, I'll be happy to sit in a trade here for a few days because I'm not expecting price to go higher. You know, I can very much see price going higher back to this level. This is an area which I'll be more confident to sit in for a few days because, you know, every time price gets there so far, we've seen very successful reactions and big swings. So I can bet on that happening again. This area, not so much. So a couple of areas to keep an eye on, 33.17, 33.40 in terms of the shorting opportunities. I just see the market as a ranging market, so I'm not really trying to do anything. I'm sure there'll be opportunities intraday to try and take advantage of momentum. But from a swing perspective, it's a very choppy market. So the idea is sell high and buy low. I've been talking about buying from this level and this level for the past few weeks. Very, very close to getting a buy here. Just kind of missed the level, unfortunately. So I didn't get into a buy there. But if we can return, I wouldn't mind having another opportunity, another stab at it. So yeah, that's very much where I'm at on gold. Just looking to pinpoint the significant areas, the significant turning points, and just selling high and buying low. And that's all I would do in a ranging market. And in terms of silver, which is starting to become a bit more flat, but I still like the buys long term. I'm still keeping a close eye on this level over here. This is still where I want to position myself long for silver. Lovely breakout when we had it. No prior retest. I'd love to see if we can get retests of that area for a buy. At the moment, though, we are testing some consolidation to our left. We're having a bit of a reaction for it, but I'm not quite convinced, to be honest. This is a very aggressive sell-off, and for me, this is a pretty corrective up move. So the way I see it, I think there's a good chance that the market does put a lower high in, and we do see another drop there for silver, either from 37.64 or 37.8. Either one of those areas, I'm looking for us to return back into the low. I'm not quite convinced that silver's just going to have a big continuation back to highs and so on and so forth, because you had a really aggressive rally. We've tried to see that again, but completely failed. And we've had a really aggressive push back down. So this is not like a healthy pullback and continuation pattern. Of course, the market can do what the market wants to do. But as a trader, we've got to deal with probability. And a move like this doesn't really represent pullback to me. It represents more kind of potentially a top for silver, or at least maybe a bit of a counter bearish trend could form. So with the aggressive nature of this bearish move, I am looking for a lower high in one of these two areas for a push, at least back to support. Again, long term, I'm still very bullish. And as I just mentioned, I'd love to get into some longs around these areas here, 34.5. But I'm not quite convinced that buying at current price, especially with how we've been moving. So yeah, before I buy, I probably would wait for a push here unless we get some crazy recovery. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the USD pairs, gold, silver. Still looking to buy USD, but yeah, I'm not quite ready yet. Okay, where were we? So I'll go through Aussie yen for Raphael, short continuation. I'm eyeing that up as well. Matta, good morning, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Ben, what's up? Hope you're doing good. I've been good. Thank you. How's trading been going? Been a little bit busy, to be honest. I'm only just getting back in the swing of things because I've been away. Well, actually the week before, so I'm actually getting up to speed of things now. But there's quite a few opportunities I'm looking at now, so hopefully I can get a few trades this week. Being a little bit busy recently, no problem. I'm definitely overdue checking on a stream. Yeah, it's been a while, Ben. Hope you've been doing good, man. Hope you've been doing good. The Sam shows fire. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I don't normally wear this color, to be honest. But giving it a go today and got some positive feedback, so that is good. Appreciate it, man. D-Mart, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Hope you've been doing good. Tony Gold, what is up, my man? Hope you're well. Good to have you in the stream. What do I think of the S&P? Yeah, 30-minute chart, no problem. We can take a look. Yes, Raphael, we'll get to Aussie Yen. Poppy, what is up? Welcome, welcome. Last week was really profitable. Nice. Yeah, you did have a few nice trades, didn't you? Euro NZD, I think, was one of them. I think you had a couple more. Can't remember that off the top of my head, but he did have some nice positions. This week I can't find a trade. It's only Tuesday, Poppy. It's only Tuesday. Yeah, don't write that off the week just yet. It's only the second day of it. Still got the rest of today, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So can't find a trade yet, but things can change pretty quickly. But again, yeah, that's perfectly normal as well. Sometimes you have a really nice week and then you come into the next week, you're not really seeing much, but that's a good thing as well because, potentially a lot of people in their early stages of trading, it could have a really good week, and coming into the next week, you can't expect the same. You expect the same to happen. Another good week. So you end up forcing some trades which aren't really there because you feel like you need to take some trades to keep the good momentum going, and then you kind of just lose what you just made last week potentially. It takes skill to actually sit on the profits you made last week and not even do anything the week after if you're not needed to. Of course, if there's another good opportunity, take it away. But if there's nothing there that's worth your time, then sit on the profits you've already banked. No need to give them back to the market so quickly. I like that because you're being picky with your opportunities, which is a good thing. But yeah, sometimes there's opportunities, sometimes there ain't. As for Aussie Yen, we did see a bit of downside yesterday, so it looks like we did get kind of that short continuation. I was kind of hoping for a slightly deeper retracement, but I think price just about got the retest of this area, maybe to the pip, to be honest. I even missed it just about. No, I think it just tapped it. Yeah, just tapped it. So, just about tapped that level. I was looking for a slightly deeper one, but it was a very nice bearish engulfing candle. Did give us a push into some new lows, but it looks like we're starting to find some support at this moment in time. So with the Aussie Yen and the other yen pairs, I have spoken a lot about downside, especially after momentum we got on Friday. After NFP, we saw a lot of yen strength and a lot of the yen pairs took a dive. I'm still not convinced about Aussie Yen long-term to the downside. I'm still looking at this kind of bullish structure we've just printed in. So we've been bearish, making lower lows and lower highs, and then suddenly we've shifted and we're making higher highs and higher lows. So I can see a world where something like this happens. So I'm not going to get overly carried away with the shorts because as we come lower, we're coming into areas where I do think buyers are sitting and potentially we could see another higher low, just like we did over there. I feel like another one could form in and around this area. So yes, price is kind of broken out of a nice consolidation here. We've been back and forth for the past few days. Lovely breakout. I think naturally that can give us a lot more downside, but I'm kind of staying wary of this area around 94.5, 94, as this looks like a logical place for another higher low to form. So in terms of shorting Aussie Yen, it would be nice to catch some shorts around this area. I would say if maybe price was to revisit that area again, that could be a nice place to short, especially some stops above the high. And you can still get a decent swing back into the 94.5, 94. And then maybe we can speak about some buys as we come back into this lovely area of demand there. So, still bearish for now for Aussie Yen. Not looking for anything crazy. I think if you're looking for some short continuations, ideally it would be nice to see price revisit some resistance up there again. Not too sure about shorting at the current price here. I mean, we could still see a continuation lower, but naturally I like my deeper pullbacks. So Aussie Yen, I do agree. I still do expect a bit more downside for this one, but I would be careful as we get to this kind of zone, 94.5, 94. I would expect buyers to be looking to jump into the market, try and catch another higher low, as I would as well, to be honest. If I start to see some signs of bullish momentum stepping in, I'll actually try and have a stab at the buys as well, because I'm still kind of favoring that swing there. But yeah, sells look good for now, but again, retracement would be nice. In terms of the S&P, so S&P's been pretty bearish recently. Of course, we've been gliding to the upside, but it's been time to retrace. We've been expecting retracement for quite some time now, and then we did get some retracement over the past couple of days. Yesterday was pretty bullish. We actually engulfed the previous candle there, which was quite significant. What I will say though about the S&P is that bullish move is quite aggressive. To me, it looks like somewhat of a V-shaped pattern, which again typically does mean more upside. We've had an aggressive move down followed by an aggressive move back up again, literally mirroring that whole move. Typically it's a sign of more upside to come. So I was expecting us to find some resistance and sell off again, but I'm not too sure if I'll be favoring that move, especially with the way we've recovered here. I mean, naturally there's still resistance in this area, but yeah, not after such an aggressive move would I be looking to short that. So yeah, I mean, I would be looking for some type of correction with the S&P, but I would be looking for higher prices. Again, the market overall, of course, is still very bullish. And I think we've just retraced just to go and find the next higher low. But yeah, in my book, I think we can still see higher prices. I mean, I would be careful in this area because, again, that's still an area of resistance, supply. We could see a bit more downside, but I would expect it just to be a bit of a correction for us to push higher. Don't really have like a concrete level which I'll look to buy from. So that's kind of my conundrum there. But yeah, I would be looking for a little bit of a sell-off and then a continuation. I think as we approach this area here, that could give us a bit of a down move. I think from a 30-minute perspective, we'll start to move a little bit sideways. So yeah, we might sell off a little bit. There's a low here, keep an eye on maybe. And then maybe some upside from there, like a weird inverse head and shoulder. So yeah, I would be pretty bullish for the S&P. I think from current price, we might see some downsides, so there could be some short-term sells. It makes sense based on where we're trading. I'm not convinced about this happening. I'm not convinced of that at all. I think there's a higher likelihood that we do continue higher. So I think shorts for the meantime, yes, in terms of where we're trading, but I quite like the buys here for the S&P, especially intraday as well. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for S&P. If it was a slower retracement, then yeah, I would be a bit more confident with the sells, but it's a pretty aggressive move, especially with the daily candle engulfing the previous day's candle. That to me is kind of like we've had a big sell, but straight away the buys kicked in. Sort of like what we had, over here with this massive sell. Things were looking extremely bearish, and suddenly, in a few days, we've kind of reversed the whole thing. I think we're seeing a similar pattern just on a smaller scale in this situation here. So yeah, I would be pretty bullish. I think we're probably going to nestle back at highs. We might kind of have a bit of retracement or might kind of move sideways for a bit, but I think the bigger move is still with the buys here. Still got 4 days for Trump to start tweeting to find a trade. Exactly, Ben, exactly. You need to have post notifications on Trump's Twitter. Ferragams, what's up, my man? Good morning. Hope you're doing good. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Welcome to the stream. Yes, pound Aussie, pound Swiss, no problem. I see selling opportunities. I agree with pound Aussie, not so much with pound CHF. Pound CHF is probably one of the few pound pairs which I'm not actually looking to sell, but pound Aussie, I do like the sells there. We'll go through that, and of course I'll take a look at pound Swiss as well. Might be in for a day of chop after yesterday's move. Yeah, I agree. Of course, a very accelerated move there. We're probably gonna kind of balance that out with maybe a bit of a sideways, bit of retracement maybe before price does anything. I've actually checked the news for today. Let me actually go take a look quickly, because I've just because of course with last week had so much news. I've kind of just come into this week thinking, okay, news is going to calm down this week, but let me have a quick overview. Okay, had some pound news in the morning. Bit of CAD, got USD PMI later this afternoon. Unemployment rate Aussie in the evening. Expected to go up a little bit. It's not looking good there for Aussie. Tomorrow, CAD PMI. Thursday. Oh, okay. Thursday, Bank of England interest rate 12. Midday, rates expected to drop there. Interesting. Okay, that should help out some sell opportunities with pound then. Could be nice to actually get into a pound short before that news does come out. If I can get to a pound USD short before Thursday, that would be nice. And we've got jobless claims in the afternoon for USD. And then Friday, unemployment rate for CAD. So not the biggest week, but I mean, of course, after last week, it's going to be quite hard to top that. But definitely a few announcements to keep an eye on. Okay, so I'll go through pound Aussie and pound Swiss for Ferragams. What's up, Cease Integrated? Welcome to the stream, my man. I hope you're well. Raphael, other JPY pairs for shorts, no problem. We can take a look at that as well. So what was it? Pound Aussie and pound Swiss. So yeah, pound Aussie and pound CHF. So I like the shorts and pound Aussie, not at current price. I think right now we're kind of stuck at support a little bit. So I'm not looking to short pound Aussie just yet, but I do anticipate a break lower. Even if we do break high, I'm still looking to short because essentially pound Aussie is ranging. We've got equal highs there, equal lows. So if price does decide it wants to push to the upside, that is all well and fine with me because I'll be looking to try and short the high of the range. And if price does decide it wants to break to the downside, then I'll be more than happy to short the breaking retest as well, or some type of pullback somewhere. So I'm pretty bearish for pound Aussie. The main reason because of that is I do expect this kind of trend to start to see some lower prices, maybe give us a bit of a counter trend move, maybe tap into some areas around here. We've just taken out COVID highs not too long ago. Price for me looks like it's really kind of stalling around that area. So I think naturally a bigger pullback is likely. We could actually see a massive sell-off here. Previously over here, price did have a really big move down. Something like that could happen again. Maybe, of course, not as aggressive because COVID was the main driving force there. But naturally, I do expect to see a bit more downside. You can see we tried to rip through, but price came straight back down straight away. And we've been moving sideways ever since. So this trend does look like it's hitting a brick wall a little bit. And I do think lower prices are likely. But of course, at the moment, we are still sideways. We are still respecting support. So I wouldn't be looking to short now. Not in this area. Not with the fact that price is still putting wicks to the downside and still, for the most part, respecting this level as support. So I do need price to clear this level well. And then I can be looking for some pullbacks and maybe a retest of the zone. Or if price is going to respect this level and start to see some more upside, that's fine as well. I've got a level up there which I'll be more than happy to short from too. So yeah, I am short bias in pound Aussie, but I don't really see much of an opportunity just yet, especially with all this kind of rejection, all this sideways momentum. I wouldn't be surprised if we do actually rally here. So pound Aussie long term, yes, bearish bias at the moment. I would not be looking to short support everywhere, and we've seen a lot of rejection as well. So I'll be quite careful with the shorts right now. In terms of pound CHF, again, I understand the market has been bearish as well. So I kind of get the idea of looking to short the market because we have been falling, of course. So looking to follow the trend makes sense, but you always have to be careful where you're following the trend to, especially in FX, because we tend to revert and chop back and forth quite a lot. Of course, indices, we're creating all-time highs pretty much every week, so you can be a bit more aggressive with trend following ideas there. In FX, you have to be quite careful. Yes, follow the trend, but don't follow it blindly. For pound CHF, we are trading at really significant support. If I mark this out, you can see really strong rejections in this area. So I would be quite careful about shorting pound Swiss. If you're like a 5-minute chart and you're only looking to hold a trade for like 30 minutes, an hour, that's a different story. You can get away with that. But if you're looking for a trade that could last more than a day, more than a couple of days, potentially a week, you're going to run into trouble most likely. You'd rather wait for price to clear support here and then start to look for shorts underneath, or maybe pull back and then look for shorts, in these areas. That'll be a bit more appropriate to short the market. At the moment, yes, lovely bearish move, but we're just smashing straight into support right now. So yeah, and especially with how price is moving, we can see a lot of kind of stabs lower, and we're just seeing a lot of failure to break low as well. I would say we're kind of moving in this descending structure, which typically means price is probably getting ready to reverse. So pound Swiss, I would not be looking to short the market. Maybe if I do see a very strong break of this level, I'll be a bit more convinced to short, but I actually do favor us bouncing here. I think CHF is due to see a bit of weakness as well, so I think pound CHF can see some upside. We'll see what pound does, of course. But yeah, so for that reason, I wouldn't be looking to short pound Swiss. We're not quite ready yet, especially where we're located and where we're trading. I'll be quite careful about shorting pound Swiss. Like I said, if you're just here to just catch a short off an area like this, and you're dropping right down to like a 5-minute chart and you catch a nice reaction, even something like this on a 5-minute chart is a pretty big move, and you can walk away with some healthy profits there. So if that's what you're looking for, I get it. But anything kind of more than that, you could run into a lot of trouble there. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. Next, we'll take a look at the DXY. Then we'll go through some yen pairs for Raphael. DXY just won't give me 98.5, so no choice. Long at 98.5. TP 99.282. Long at 98.6 instead. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I was expecting the dollar to retrace a lot further, to be honest, even more than 98.5. But yeah, I'm waiting to see if momentum can pick up on the 4-hour chart before I do anything. But I'll go take a look at the dollar in a second, because I'm still pretty bullish on that. Charlotte, what's up? I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Hope you're well. Yes, we can take a look at gold, silver, 4-hour time frame. No problemo. We can take a look at that. I've just got a few pairs to go through first, and then we'll get to it. Danny, what's up, my man? Hope you're doing good. Yes, we can take a look at US 13 gold. No problemo. Let me just go through the DXY, some yen pairs, and I'll get to it. So yeah, DXY, I'm still very bullish on. I did say yesterday that I was looking for a deeper retracement into this zone, purely because of how aggressive we were off the back of NFP. We saw a lovely bullish leg here, and that's basically my plan for the week. Looking to find the continuation of this bullish move and the higher low. That's my plan. Can we find the higher low, back to highs, and probably further as well? So that's the plan. Because we were very aggressive with that reaction and that retracement, typically when we are as aggressive as this, typically we do tend to have deeper pullbacks. So I've kept an eye on this area, a nice brief area of demand, not the most significant area you'll ever see, but we did stall here for a few candles before breaking to the upside quite aggressively. So this tells me this is a nice area of demand, and if price was to return here, there's a good chance of a bullish reaction. So I like this location for a buy. I also like this location. Of course, the prior high was resistance, now will be taken as support. So this looks like an effective area for a buy as well. Not quite convinced with the price action just yet. The way I see it, we're kind of just sideways here, and especially due to the fact that we had all this bearish momentum, I kind of want to see like a really strong close to tell me that, okay, the bearish momentum here is gone, the buys are back in, we've consolidated, we've built up orders, now we're ready to skyrocket and see some more upside. So I'm waiting for a strong close on the 4-hour chart to convince me that, okay, the buyers are already back in town and we're ready to see some more upside. If I don't see that, then I'm just going to have the expectation that we are going to push lower and price could potentially move towards the 98, 97.8 area for a buy. So I've got two areas which I kind of like for a buy. Depending on the price action, that will invite me to the trade. Right now, I'm not getting any invitation. So I need to see some momentum. This 4-hour candle is about to close the next hour or so. So we'll see how it does close. But at the moment in time, it's not doing enough for me to be jumping into a trade. And again, I like to take my trades on the 4-hour chart as well. I'm not looking to trade the DXY outright, but I am looking at it in terms of confluence to go and trade euro dollar or pound dollar, so on and so forth. So yeah, DXY, I like the buys. Not quite convinced here unless momentum kicks in. If we do drop lower, not to worry. I think there's some nice areas lower down for a buy. And again, just basically looking for the continuation of that bullish leg and maybe for price to return back to highs. So that's still very much my take on the dollar. In terms of a few other yen pairs, I'm still quite bearish for the time being. Of course, we had that lovely drop last Friday, and I'm basically looking for the continuation of that this week. So this is pound yen, and your pound yen's tried to continue to rally higher a few times. 1, 2, 3, a little bit 4 there, 5. So prices try to rally every time, it's failed, and now we've seen a very strong shift in momentum with the bears coming in, and price coming back into support. So in my book, I'm looking at something like this happening, push back into support, now turn resistance, and another lower high. So that's really what I'm favoring for pound yen and quite a lot of the other yen pairs this week. Long term, I'm not too sure about long-term sells for pound yen. I mean, there is room to the downside. Prices respecting major resistance. There is a world where we do see a massive sell back into this area. So that could happen. But I would say stay conservative, especially if a pair as choppy as like this. I think if you can get a nice short from this area and get some shorts back into the low, you're looking good. You can always leave some positions to run if you do feel like price can continue. But at the moment, looks like support is doing a good job here for pound yen. Price looks like it's dancing on that area for now. But I am still bearish in pound yen. I still think more downside is to come. But I wouldn't be looking to short at least until around 197, 197.5. That's where I want to see some opportunities. Basically just looking at the pullback of that bearish leg, and you got the 0.5, 0.618 kind of sitting in that area quite nicely. So that's kind of my take there on pound yen. CAD yen, same situation as well. Lovely run to the upside, just about clearing the highs, and then price turning to the downside on a dime there. Again, long term for CAD yen, this is still very much a bullish market. This bearish candle hasn't necessarily reversed this bullish trend. Your market structure is still up, so I still have to show respect to that. So as we do push lower, possibly that could happen. But I do like the shorts in the meantime. So with CAD yen, I quite like this area here. We did have quite a quick break and retest of that low. But I like my deeper pullback. So I'm kind of liking the idea of a push here, a lower high, and a continuation off the back of that. So this would be a nice retracement, just a bit higher than 0.618. But that's kind of an area which I do like there for CAD yen, back into resistance there. And then from maybe around this area, we can start talking about some buys to maybe take CAD yen back to the upside. We'll have to see when we get there and how price looks. But I'm not convinced about a long-term move for the yen pairs to the downside just yet. So the shorts that I'm talking about, I'm kind of referring to this week only. Maybe you might spill over into next week a little bit. But I like the shorts there in a continuation. We already spoke about Aussie yen as well. So this one as well, just looking for a pullback and more downsides. But long term, we may still see some more upside there as well. So being a bit cautious of that. And dollar yen too, I like the downside for this one as well. Got some lovely resistance there. Very aggressive sell. I'm looking for a pullback into this area. Then maybe another short back into the low. Yeah, and that's about it, because again, we might still find support to continue higher. We've got a low there, higher lows here. I can see potentially some higher lows forming there as well. So being careful. But yeah, I like the shorts here. Sort of like a head and shoulder pattern. I think that'll be a safe place to get a stop loss in. And again, just basically looking for the pullback of that leg into 0.5, into 0.618. And a nice continuation. So the plan with the yen pairs is we had aggressive reaction on Friday, a lot of strength in the yen, The yen pair's dropped. Just looking for the continuation of that. Nothing big. I don't think we're in a reversal just yet. Need a bit more development on that part. But long term, I still think weakness is here for the yen. Unless things change drastically, and of course I'll share my opinion if that does happen, but I'm not quite convinced just yet. Okay, so I'll go through gold and silver for Charlotte. We'll take a look at US 30 as well for Danny. Yes, Meg, we're about to take a look at gold for you, no problem. DMAR, GJ, and Euro Yen. Okay, I'll take a look at that on the hourly chart afterwards. So as for gold, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of gold. A lot of people have been asking me for my opinion on gold. I've just kind of kept it short and sweet, to be honest, because price action for me is not optimal in terms of how I trade. I'm a very technical based trader, so for me the technicals are always going to take priority, and I want to see healthy technical patterns. I want to see momentum, trends, and although yes, gold is in a long-term uptrend, we are definitely in a sideways climate right now, and price hasn't gone anywhere since the high there, the 21st of April. So the past couple of months, we haven't done anything. So it's been quite flat. As for gold right now, I highlighted a couple of areas where we could see some sells from. I said this area being one, and I said this area being number two. The way I see it, the market is ranging between highs here and lows here. This is more like an intermediate level. It's not the most significant level. Typically, if you're going to trade within a range, you want to be right at the top or right at the bottom. Those are always going to be the best places to take a trade. If you're shorting high, kind of want to be the highest as possible. If you're going to be buying, kind of want to be buying at the lowest available price within a range. This isn't that, but it's still a level that I like. Resistance here previously, price did rally through. We broke back underneath, sort of like a head and shoulder pattern to a degree. I like the level. I did say though, if you are looking to short around here, I wouldn't try and stay for a big trade. It may turn into be, of course, I can't see into the future, but I think this is a nice place for a short, especially if you're looking for a reaction, maybe for a session or for a day. I think we can see some downside off the back of that. Maybe long term, we are still due to push higher. If you are looking for a bigger swing trade, I think this is a level to keep an eye on, 34.30. You can see massive swings from this area, there again, and of course you got the high there as well. So this is kind of an area which I'd be more happy to sit in and put a stop loss above. In this case, it's more like, okay, maybe I can catch a nice short for the day and then run away, sort of thing. In terms of buys, I like the level here again. Really nice support once, twice, almost a third time. I was looking for some buys here, but unfortunately, we just kind of missed the level there. So if we can return there, that would be great. If that level breaks, then I do have this level here, which I'm also keeping tabs on. Really nice reaction. If we were to revisit that, I would be looking to buy gold again. So it's just a market that's moving sideways. I'm just looking at areas where I can take some reactions off, and that's kind of the areas I've marked on the chart right now. Yeah, and that's kind of all I see with gold. In terms of silver, I think silver's got a bit more of a trend to it, so naturally I do like it a little bit more. I do favor more downside at the moment in time for silver. Long term, I'm still very bullish bias on silver, and I'm looking to keep buying it. This is a lovely trend. It's not the most aggressive one, but it has been trending since the low of August 2022, so that's a good 3 years ago. We've been trending pretty well, seeing higher highs and higher lows. Momentum's picked up a little bit. We just cleared the highs here. I quite like the opportunity for a retest of this level and for another continuation. So from a swing perspective, you're looking to try and hold a trade for a big swing, I think this is a place to really keep an eye on. In terms of the more immediate price action, however, we've seen a really aggressive bearish move here, so I'm not quite convinced with the buys. I do think another move down is likely. We had a lovely consolidation, price ripped to the upside with some healthy momentum, but we've just been looking very sluggish, very tight since that has happened, and a lot of aggressive momentum stepped in. So with how aggressive we have sold off, I don't see price suddenly just continuing to the upside like nothing happened. The way I see it, we've had an aggressive move. We'll like to see a continuation of that. The bigger move for me still looks like it's likely to be to the upside, but for now, I think the retest of this support level, the retest of this kind of consolidation, that area of supply, I think is are smart areas to keep an eye on for some shorting opportunities. So silver, I still think we've got another bearish leg in us, just looking for the continuation of that bearish momentum from last week, at least a push back into support, and then we'll go from there. But quite like the shorts in silver, 37.6 or 38. At the moment, it looks like we're having a decent reaction on that level there. Maybe a nice close on the hourly chart. I mean, we're about to close the next 1 minute. Looks like still just about in that consolidation. Maybe if we can pick up in the next 60 seconds and see it close outside of that, that could be a nice entry. If not, then you can just wait for the next hourly candle. But I quite like the look of where we're trading. So either from this area or that area, I do fancy a push back into support. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on gold and silver. Hopefully that made sense for those two markets there. I quite like silver because there's a bit more of a trend to it. Gold is just pure flatness. Okay, so US 30, we shall take a look at that one next for Danny. Then I'll go through GJ and Euro Yen on the hourly chart. I'm favored. What's up? Good morning. Yes, I can go through the DAX for you, no problem. Just a couple pairs to go through first, and then we'll take a look at the DAX as well. So US 30, interesting behavior, really aggressive rally as well. I was actually hoping US 30 could see a bit more downside back into this area. But looks like we didn't quite have enough energy to see that happen. So with US 30, again, still very much bullish on this one long term. The view is that this bearish move is just a retracement for price to see higher prices. Again, ideally would be nice to capture a breaking retest of that level, but maybe we didn't quite have enough energy for that. Nice bullish engulfing candle there. Looks like we've had a bit of a V-shape reversal as well with this one too. And again, typically with a V-shaped reversal, I'm expecting price to see some more upside. So going forward with US 30, I quite like the buys, even perhaps a buy off this area. If price can correct itself, retest that level, I think that's a sensible place to look for a buy. This looks like possibly a fake of that support level, and the retest could be a great area to position long again, stops below the low, and perhaps catch a bounce, because essentially US 30 has been quite flat. Oh, didn't mean to do that. US 30 has been quite flat, and it's essentially kind of faked the lows of it. So if you can position yourself back at support, that's obviously going to be a nice place to buy from. And now they've got the V-shaped pattern, that really does increase the probability of us seeing more upside. I would be a bit cautious as we do approach this area here. That's kind of our last area of supply, which gave us all that momentum. So I think naturally, if you do catch a buy into that area, maybe looking to lock in some gains or just being a bit cautious could help. But if US 30 means business, I wouldn't be surprised if we do end up back at the highs at 45k. Excuse me. So yeah, US 30, I'm pretty bullish on. Pretty bullish. S&P pretty bullish. Haven't looked at the NAS yet, but I probably would be pretty bullish on that one as well. But yeah, US 30 looking for a bit of a pullback and then some more upside. Okay, so we'll go take a look at GJ and Euro Yen on the hourly chart. And then we'll go through the DAX for favored. Trev, USD rebound. We can take a look at the dollar. Looks like we are getting it, but I need to see a bit more momentum before I'm convinced. Mohammed, welcome to the stream. Yes, we can. What, please, how would you tackle a short on pound? Okay. Yeah, we can take a look at pound and euro while referencing the DXY. Okay. No problem. We can take a look at that as well. Hey, Poppy, appreciate it. Likes are free and they help the channel. Appreciate it, Poppy. Yeah, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, please be sure to smash the like button. Drop a like, does really help out. Helps grow the channel. I do really appreciate it. Of course, subscribe whilst you're at it as well if you do want to see more of the content, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on anything in the future. But I really do appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who has liked the stream so far, and thanks for Poppy for reminding everyone to do so, because sometimes I do forget, which is extremely poor. Anyway, was it the DAX is going to take a look at next? No, GJ and Euro on the hourly chart, then we'll take a look at the DAX. So pound yen on the hourly. So, I mean, it's pretty much the same analysis on the 4 hour, to be honest. I mean, 4 hour candle is only 4 hourly candles. So the analysis is pretty much the same. We've seen a strong drop. Price tried to continue higher. It failed. It's left behind a pretty nice level for a retest. From an hourly perspective, we are kind of just dancing at support here. I'd like to see a bit more retracement to get the pullback of this bearish leg here. And this is kind of where the confluence does lie. So, yeah, looking for a push at least into 197, which is kind of the low of this area. But anywhere within here, 197 to almost 198, I think is a nice place to keep an eye on for a short. And then hopefully a sell, at least back into the low in which we came from. So, yeah, not US 30, GJ, pretty bearish bias. Yes, we're looking pretty bullish now, but I only view this as a likely pullback for us to still see some lower prices. So if we can come back, attack these areas, see some healthy rejection, I think that's a smart place to be looking to short. I think I'll be looking for entries on like the 4 hour time frame, but I think if you can refine even to the hourly, could look at some decent risk reward opportunities from that zone. So yeah, pretty bearish from GJ, expecting us to see lower prices. Euro yen's an interesting one. Long term, I'm still actually looking to buy this and just kind of being patient, because I still expect us to go and smash into the highs here. That's still very much my outlook. Since we've taken out the highs back here, the plan has been looking to trade it back there. It looks to me that price is finally having a bit of retracement. So I'm looking at this as price just potentially forming a low to continue. We might put a double bottom in before seeing some upside. I'm not quite convinced just yet. I like to see a bit more rejection before I would talk a bit more about that. But the way I see it for Euro yen, we've had some consolidation. Price kind of faked the high of the consolidation, broke to the downside, came back for a retest of it and saw some downside. So if you're looking to short the market, you kind of want price to be back at this area here. Because of course now we've already seen some downside, we're back at support. That's not the best time to be looking to short, unless price does clear the low again and then provides you with an opportunity for a break and retest. Then of course that could look nice as well. But yeah, until we get that break and retest, this is the only opportunity that kind of makes sense to me. So if I was looking to short Euro yen, it would have to be around the 172 mark and then try and catch a high from there. Or of course, if you can break the low and see some downside there. Longer term, I'm looking for buys, so that's kind of where my head's at. But if you're looking to sell 172 or clear of 170, I think you provide some nice shorts there. And we'll go from there. But yeah, this is where I do still see Euro yen heading towards, which is why I think the shorts with the yen pairs are only kind of short term. I think in due course, the yen basket is still due to drop. I was hoping the yen basket can come and retest this area. Not too far away. Maybe we kind of get a bit more corrective and then eventually see the push down. And that's when I think the yen pairs will turn around. But yeah, really aggressive move. Not quite convinced. So still I'm pretty bearish with this one. Looking at these kind of major highs here, I think we could be seeing another one join the party. So going to keep a close eye on that. But yeah, for Euro yen, hourly chart, there might be some short-term buys off the low, but if you're looking to sell, you kind of want price to be back at 172. So that's kind of where I would be. Like I said, there might be some buys off the low here, but that's kind of where you want to be shorting. Okay, so we'll go through the DAX and then we'll take a look at USD. So yeah, the DAX, I haven't actually looked at the DAX since yesterday. And it looks like we've kind of done something similar with the other USD pairs, which is this V-shaped pattern. I still kind of like the shorts here for the DAX, but I would be cautious. I was mentioning this yesterday. I said I like these shorts from this level because it's a lovely support level. Price cleared it very well. We haven't come back for a retest, so there's a lot of boxes being ticked with this level here. The only reason why I'd be careful is because it's the DAX. It's an index which, of course, does from time to time aggressively trend to the upside. I mean, it's been doing that for the past kind of couple of years, to be honest. So we're in a very kind of confident uptrend. So taking shorts kind of at all, you always have to be cautious, even if it looks good, which it does look good here, but I would still be cautious. So I like this level for a short. What I would suggest though is that if we can see some healthy rejection here, I think there could be a short that might kind of last a day or two, and then we might end up forming a higher low to continue higher. I can see price doing that. We might react off the level. A lot of people will be targeting the low here, and rightly so. It kind of makes sense. Break and retest, you kind of expect price to come back to the low. But because of how bullish we have been, because of the relentless trend that we are in, I would be quite cautious. And if I start to see some signs, maybe halfway, of us starting to put a higher low in, you're struggling to head lower, maybe momentum starting to pick up with the buys again, I'll be very quick to take my profits because I know I'm going against the tide here. Even despite the momentum we've seen recently, I know on the bigger scale, on the bigger picture, I'm still going against the tide. So this is like a nice level to short from. Of course, we're just about arriving now. So I would wait for us to kind of develop and start to show some signs of rejection, which we're not really seeing just yet. So need to be patient for that. If we don't see any rejection and if price just breaks straight through, well, then I think the buys actually look pretty good, to be honest, on a retest of that level, because what that would do is it would mean that this humongous sell-off here is actually kind of just a big fake out, really. Potentially with the breakout, that would attract a lot of sellers on the breakout. Now maybe a lot of them are kind of stuck in some positions as price turns around. So if we do manage to clear this, well, that means that this is a big fake out. I expect to retest and naturally just to push back into the high of the range, which is around 24,500. So this is like a nice long opportunity. Should we get that? Should price break back within the range? If we don't and we see some healthy rejection, shorts look good, but just be patient and be a bit conservative with the targets because we are counter trend and that trend can snap bullish at any point. So keep that in mind. But yeah, on paper it looks good. If this was like an FX pair, I think this would be a really nice opportunity, but it's not. It's the DAX. We are counter trend here, so I would be careful. As for the DXY, so of course we've seen some strength today. Nothing crazy though. I'm still looking for a bit more momentum. The way I see it, we kind of are a bit flat here. If I move this out of the way, we kind of are a bit flat. So we are testing, prior resistance now turned support. I was a bit skeptical of this level coming into the week because of how aggressive we were on Friday off the back of NFP. I kind of expect us just to keep selling off early next week, Monday, Tuesday, but we haven't. For the most part, we are just about finding support here. So I'm kind of waiting to see if we can get a strong close to the upside there on the 4-hour chart. If we do, that will kind of convince me that, okay, this area does mean business and we are ready to turn around. So it does look like USD is having a bounce and possibly putting a higher low in, because my plan for the week has really been just looking for a pullback of this leg, a pullback of that leg for more upside. I've talked about this area quite a lot yesterday. I'm looking for a buy there. I still am, but it looks like this level is providing support. So I don't mind having a stab at this area if things look good. If it doesn't work out, then I've always got the level here to try and get into a buy. I'm still not quite convinced about the long-term move for the DXY, so I'm kind of still bullish, at least for this week, maybe for next week as well. I say that because there's still a lot of resistance just above our heads over here. So I am taking some buys down here, but I do worry about this level, which has shown a lot of support previously and just recently resistance as well. I do worry that price potentially could still roll over there. So for the time being, bullish. But as soon as we get back to 100, 101, I'm going to be quite neutral on the pair, or kind of just only looking for short-term moves. So that's kind of where I'm at now for the DXY. But yeah, if momentum can pick up well, I don't mind hopping into some buys. One of my favored USD pairs is pound USD. Someone asked how would I take some shorts on pound and euro. So yeah, for pound, pretty straightforward. Just looking for a break and retest of this low here. We've seen a lovely break to the downside. So the plan very much is just looking for a pullback of this leg here. Lines up pretty well with the 50%. That's great. As long as price is kind of in and around those areas, I'm happy to take some shorts there. But yeah, the way I see pound right now is that we've been in a lovely uptrend. The uptrend looks like it's hit a bit of a brick wall. We've just gone and broken through some structure there. So now I'm not looking to follow this uptrend anymore. Now I'm looking to follow this bearish trend, this bearish structure with the lower lows and lower highs. So now I'm just looking for the retest of this same support level, try and catch the lower high and take some entries off the back of that. Again, in terms of how I'm entering, I'm just looking for bearish engulfing candles really. I'm looking for momentum to shift. The wicks as well is always a good confluence for a trade. And also keeping close eye how we get there as well. That does play a big role. But yeah, if everything can look good in terms of in those situations, how we get there, how we react, how candles close, then yeah, I'll be looking for entries in that area and push into the low. Euro, pretty much the same thing. Just I'm being a bit more cautious with Euro because of course, how aggressive we were on the move we were to the upside. This to me kind of looks like a big V-shaped pattern as well. Impulse down, impulse up normally does mean more upside. So that's why I've been quite cautious about shorting from this area. We picked up a little bit of momentum there, but I need a little bit more than that before I'm convinced about shorting. I'm also keeping an eye on the DXY as well. As I said, I do want to see the DXY give me a strong close here, kind of confirming that this momentum is no more and the buyers have stepped in. At the moment, we're kind of just ranging here. So not reading too much into the current price action until I see a strong close. That kind of is another reason why I'm being a bit patient before shorting Euro, because DXY isn't really confirmed either. But maybe if Euro does push back into the range, respects it well, maybe a nice wick to the upside, that would be a nice confluence, and then we see a strong close. Well, that would convince me to take a trade and then targets back at the low. If not, if we continue to rally, well, there's this area just above our heads, 1.17. I think that looks like a nice place for a short. Lovely consolidation. It kick-started the whole bearish move. So if we do return there, I wouldn't mind that at all for some shorts. And that would be an area which I would like the next little high to form in. But I'm going to keep an eye on both areas. I did say coming into the week that this is my preferred area. If things develop well here, I don't mind having a stab. But they haven't developed quite well yet. So I'm just keeping a close eye and not doing anything just yet. But that's pretty much it in terms of entries and taking opportunities there. Keeping it very, very simple. So yeah, hopefully that made sense on pound and euro. Annie, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. I'm doing good. Glad to join you on the stream. Glad to have you on the stream. Hope you're doing well. Mohammed, besides big wicks, what else do you consider rejection? That's mainly it, to be honest. Again, you don't need to be looking at something crazy. Trading is just doing the simple things really well. It's not like you're kind of trying to spot a needle in a haystack or something that no one else has seen before. Wicks are really good metrics to indicate rejection, especially depending where they are. I wouldn't just look at a wick in a random area and consider that really good rejection, because what is it rejecting? So support and resistance, supply and demand, even trend lines. If I can see aggressive wicks of those areas, well, that's all I need to see in terms of rejection. If you're seeing 2-3 wicks into an area, an area of confluence, support and resistance, supply and demand, trend lines, that's a strong sign that the market's failing to break through that area and is most likely going to bounce. Of course, I wouldn't use that to judge the whole trade, but in terms of an entry, in terms of rejection, that's as good as it gets, really. And of course, in terms of entering, I like to wait for my bearish engulfing or bullish engulfing candles just to confirm momentum's in my direction as well. Because rejection is one thing, momentum is a different thing. Rejection is you can't break through a certain area, momentum is that, okay, wherever we are, we're starting to see momentum in the opposing direction. So in terms of rejection, that's what I would consider. In terms of a good rejection, wicks is the key thing I'm looking for. It's the best indicator. Yeah, I wouldn't overcomplicate it more than that. Campbell, welcome. What is up? Hope you're doing good. Yes, sure thing. No problem. No problem, Dima. Happy to help. So yeah, in terms of rejection, keeping it simple, and in terms of patterns at play, we've got lovely pattern 1 over here, and then that'll be pattern 6 with the consolidation. There on Euro USD in the 4-hour chart. And it's more of a counter trend play with this one because, of course, we do have your lovely uptrend there with the higher highs and higher lows. So this would be your main trend of the market. This would be a counter trend because it's newly formed structure. It's against the overall momentum. But again, I still do like my counter trend plays. I do like to go pro trend most of the time. But I don't like to be in a trend that's been going on for too long, especially in FX, because we do tend to have bigger retracements and bigger pullbacks, and trends don't typically continue for too long in FX as well. But this is a new formed trend here. We just created the lower high and the lower low there. We haven't really broken through any major structure. I'll still say that this here is the last major low. This is the high, that's the low, that's the new high. So technically speaking, we can still correct here and still continue to the upside at any point. So I'm being quite careful with the shorts because not only is the retracement quite aggressive, but the overall trend is still to the upside. We haven't necessarily reversed that. The only reason why I've been looking to short Euro is because I've been saying the trend looks quite tired. I'm starting to see some signs of momentum starting to dry up. So naturally, I've been favoring us to see some downside. And now that we've got some bearish structure to back that up, and especially with a lovely, aggressive bearish leg like we saw just here, that gives me the confidence to actually be looking to short this and go counter trend. Now I'm just looking for the next lower high. And those are the two areas I'm keeping an eye on. That'll be pattern 1 for the break and retest, and pattern 6 coming into nice consolidation, a nice area of supply. So we'll see what we can get. DXY is pretty much the copy and paste of that, but just inverse as well. So we've got that break and retest there, consolidation looking for a push higher, and you've got a brief area of demand there. Not the biggest area, but it does the job. It did start this pretty confident bullish move there, so I would be happy to long from that area. But yeah, just wait and see how this 4-hour candle does close really, because that will confirm to me what we're doing with this consolidation. Are we breaking out confidently? Are we breaking out just a little bit, or are we not breaking out at all? We'll find that in the next 38 minutes, and that will kind of help me decipher what I should do with other USD pairs. I already know what my bias is and what I'm looking to do. Buy the dollar. But I just need that confirmation before I do jump into anything. I've been keeping an eye on dollar CHF, but I'm not the biggest fan of this one. This one's kind of correctively pushed up, so I'm not really liking what I'm seeing. I mean, it's done a good job of respecting resistance here, turned support, so it has bounced off that. But it's been a very kind of corrective move to the upside, especially when you've had all this momentum pushing back down. So I'm not quite convinced with the buys here. I mean, we are slowly chugging away to the upside. Maybe we do pick up momentum at some point, but it hasn't done a good job to convince me to buy. So quite cautious of dollar CHF at this moment in time. No problem, Mohammed. Happy to help. I did say yesterday that I quite like the look of a lot of CHF pairs. I talked a lot about CAD CHF buys. I do think price is gearing up for a nice turnaround, so I'm kind of staying patient with that. Didn't really like the daily candle closure. I was looking hopefully for a bit more momentum there. This one is a little bit stale as well, but the reason why I like it is because we'd be consolidating, and it looks to me that price is getting ready for potentially a bit of a breakout. So I quite like the buys here, especially on the daily chart. Maybe catching a nice strong close maybe today and getting a stop loss underneath the low here with the expectation that, okay, I'm expecting this to be a bottom, expecting us to come back and test some areas here, maybe the high there as well. Some awful drawings, but you guys get the point. And the beauty of CAD Swiss is that we are coming from all-time lows. You can see that this is a pretty aggressive trade. The trend is to the downside. This is definitely a anti-trend. But when you are coming from all-time lows, you can be a bit more confident to go against the trend, because naturally you're expecting, okay, all the big sellers, they're probably taking their profits by now. I'm not expecting as much seller pressure anymore, but still you have to be careful. If I do get into a buy and I start to see some heavy signs of failure to continue, of rejection, momentum shifting back with the sellers, I'm not going to overstay on my welcome, and I'm going to be out of that trade pretty quickly, because this could easily still see another lower low. And that's one of the key things to keep an eye on when you are going counter trend. There's nothing wrong with going counter trend. A lot of people follow the trend, follow the trend, follow the trend, which is true. But in FX, you need to be able to play both sides of the coin, because yes, there'll be some nice trends which are worth following, but a lot of the time you'll see trends last for a few days, they'll turn around, another few days, turn around. And if you keep looking to short trends that are already established in FX, you will end up kind of selling the lows of the trend and being a bit late to the party. So there's times when you should be following trends, and there's times where you should be doesn't have to look for reversals, but at least wait for the new trend to form and then hop into that one. In this case, it's a bit more aggressive. I'm not waiting for the trend to turn. I'm actually trying to catch the turn of the trend, which is more of an aggressive trade, 100%. But based on the fact that we're all-time lows, I'm naturally expecting the bounce anyway. That's kind of the main confluence of the trade. So I don't mind hopping to some buys here, but if things don't go well, pretty quickly, if I don't see momentum pick up well in my favor, I'll probably call the trade early and get out of there, because momentum is not in my favor at all. And Aussie CHF, another one I'm keeping a close eye on, which looks to me again forming a bit of a low here, forming a bit of a bottom. We've been very, very corrective on the way down. I'm not convinced with this bearish move at all. I do think we're getting ready for a big buy. Aussie CHF is another CHF pair coming from all-time lows as well. If I zoom out, you can see since the dawn of time, or at least going back to the 80s, price has never been lower. So this to me, and again, seeing the nature of the market, every time we do create a new low, we do reverse, we do see upside. I'm expecting the same situation, same pattern to happen here again. So judging how price is moving, a very corrective move down, I do believe that price is likely to form a higher low here and see some upside. Right now we're kind of consolidating, which is a good sign. It means that we're kind of coming into equilibrium. Buyers are starting to find a bit of a floor. Possibly from here we could see that bounce. So I'm just waiting for momentum to pick up and take some buys again, probably on the daily chart. Maybe a nice strong close above all the noise. Put some stops underneath here, and then see if I can trade it back to highs, back to these highs, and then eventually back to this area, which I've been calling for price to get to for quite some time. This is the last major kind of area of supply which kickstarted this bearish move. I do think we're likely to come back and test that zone there. So if I can get some buys that look like this, I'll be very happy to take it back into that zone. Much more of a swing trade, but I don't quite like the 4-hour chart. It's difficult to find some entries on the 4-hour. I think just zoom out to the daily makes things a lot easier. I think if I was looking at a 4-hour entry, I'd probably just wait for us to get that strong reversal, then a pullback. That could be a nice trade. But there's sometimes the downside of waiting for that is that you don't always get the pullback, you don't always get the retest. Sometimes price just breaks out and flies. So that's the benefit of taking breakouts, is that you kind of don't miss the trade. You're in there regardless. But of course, with the breakout, you're a bit more exposed to fake outs as well. Pascal, what is up? Yes, Euro Aussie, no problem. USD and EuroCAD for sales, H4 hourly. Okay, we can take a look for you. Okay, so I haven't looked at any of those pairs yet, I don't think. Euro Aussie. So you're looking for sales for all of them, I'm guessing. So yeah, with Euro Aussie, I'm pretty bearish on this one as well. I'm looking for us to return back to the lows here. Similar to Aussie CHF, it's kind of a situation where we've got a corrective move here. I'm not quite convinced that we're going to achieve highs from here. I do think price is correctively pushing up to eventually sell off again. So I'm pretty bearish here with Euro Aussie. We've had a sharp reaction to the upside, so I'm not the biggest fan of the shorts right now. Kind of looks like price is just having a bit of consolidation. I think naturally, yeah, shorts make sense here, but I'll be quite cautious with them. I wouldn't be looking for anything crazy. If price comes back into this area, I'll probably look to lock in some gains. The way I see it, price is just being quite sideways. What I would say is, though, that we've had this uptrend, but we haven't created the new high since the high here. So it looks to me that we're running out of steam. We've tried to ride in a few occasions, but not quite enough to see. So it looks like we're starting to put some lower highs in, and perhaps maybe a bit of a trend does start to form, which does take us to the lows here. So something like that would look really good in terms of an opportunity. You know, a retest of the low here or retest of this low, that would look good. Get your break and retest opportunities, your pattern ones there, and that will take you to the low, hopefully. So that's kind of what I'll be gearing up for Euro Aussie. These would be the kind of the high probability trades. Shorting from here, I think, is a nice place to short from. Coming back to a nice area of resistance, but I would be quite cautious as we come back into support. And if I do start to see some rejections, I wouldn't be afraid to close that trade early in the case that we do bounce and see some more upside. But this is what I'm looking for on Euro Aussie. Euro NZD, pretty much the same situation as well. We've had a really nice rally back into resistance. This one, again, not convinced of at all. Very corrective on the way up. Start to stall, start to form potentially a bit of consolidation here as well. Same logic applies. If you can break to the downside, I think that would be a nice short. And that could take us back down to these lows here. I think shorts at the high now makes sense. A bit more of an aggressive trade. Probably want to get stops right above the highs here, just to be away from all the noise. But the shorts do make sense. You're basically trying to call the top essentially. But when you're shorting here, you're shorting before the move, so you're getting into the market early. The benefit of that is you get a better entry, probably better risk reward, and you can probably sit in the trade a little bit longer. If you do wait for the ideas I just mentioned, something like this, you get into the market later, probably not as good risk rewards. You probably can't sit in the trade as long because you're not at the best price possible, and sometimes you don't always see the pullbacks as well. So there's cons with that situation too. This is a bit more aggressive, probably more likely to lose the trade as well. So there's cons and pros to pretty much every situation. But the bias for me as well is bearish. I'm looking for USD to trend lower. This is my long-term target for the pair, and I kind of still do expect us to get there. I know we've had a sharp rally here, but that hasn't convinced me. If we were to break the highs well, then yeah, I probably would stand corrected and probably start to talk about the highs there more, but I'm not quite convinced. I still think we're likely to rally, likely to push lower, and then talk about some shorts on the way down. So USD still pretty bearish with that one as well. And Euro CAD, I'm pretty bearish too. I mean, this one on the higher time frames has smashed into a very big level of resistance. So I'm very kind of watchful over Euro CAD because you can see the level of trading in, massive resistance once, twice, a third time, and there a fourth time. So to me, this is a really kind of pivotal level in the market, and we could see a lot of selling pressure from this area. And I mean, last time we sold off, we achieved the lows here, so I'm not necessarily we're getting there, but this is an area which higher time frame, bigger players in the market do position themselves short, and we've seen a lot of selling pressure from here. So naturally, not really looking to keep buying EuroCAD anymore. I know we've had quite a nice trend, and we've been bullish, but this is a time where I start to back off. Not that we can't break through the zone, we definitely can, but I wouldn't want to be trying to buy that to find out. I'd rather wait for price to actually break through and speak about some longs afterwards. So what I can see now from EuroCAD is that we've had a bit of a consolidation. Price has broken to the downside of the consolidation, and it looks like we're coming back for some type of retest. I wouldn't say, I mean, it looks like price is breaking back inside, but I wouldn't say it's concrete. We're kind of still trading in the vicinity of that previous high there as well. So I would like to see price find resistance here. Generally an area of support turn resistance. I would like to see price find resistance here. Maybe a nice double top, something like that, and some stops above the high. I wouldn't want us to keep trending higher. And then, yeah, if that's the case, back to lows and probably a lot lower as well. If we're going to respect that monthly zone, it could actually give us a pretty big sell-off. So yeah, EuroCAD, I like the shorts as well. I think it makes sense based on where we're trading. We're quite sideways right now, so I think we'll probably do another rally. But if you can reject the highs again, maybe put a nice double top, that could be a nice entry to take into consideration on the 4-hour chart as well. And then get involved then a swing back into the lows. And this one, I'd probably say you can probably drop to the hourly to really refine that. So push back into the highs and then take the reaction off that. Probably gives you an opportunity to refine the market a little bit better. But yeah, I think we'll probably do another rally. And then we can look for sells at the high if we can reject it well. But from a swing perspective, that's what I'm looking at. Same thing for Euro NZD. From a swing perspective, that's what I'm looking at. I probably wouldn't drop to the hourly for entries. So I'd probably keep it to the 4-hour chart. Hourly could give a bit too many false signals there. And same thing with Euro Aussie as well. I'll probably keep it to the 4-hour chart. I mean, it's a nice level to short from. But if I can see like a nice bearish engulf from the 4-hour chart, I'll be a lot more comfortable shorting there. And again, targets back at this area makes a lot of sense. And then we'll go from there. So yeah, I'm pretty bearish on Euro Aussie, Euro NZD, Euro CADs. It looks like I'm pretty bearish on Euro and Pound because a lot of those crosses I do fancy more downside. Euro NZD, I fancy more downside. Euro Aussie, I fancy more downside. Euro CAD, Pound NZD, Pound Aussie as well. Pound Yen. A little bit, Euro Yen a little bit as well, Pound USD, Euro USD. So I'm quite heavily short biased on Pound Euro. I mean, rates are expected to drop for Pound on Thursday as well, so that could definitely play a role. What else? Pound CHF and Euro CHF, no, I'm quite bullish on. I think that's more to do with CHF being weak. Euro Pound, I'm not too sure about. It's not my favorite pair right now. It's quite choppy, so I don't really have a bias there. So I can't really work out if I'm expecting Euro or Pound to be the weaker one. I think that's it for the crosses, yeah. And of course, Euro and Pound, I'm pretty short bias on as well. No problem, Pascal. Happy to help on the same page. Nice, good to hear. But yeah, I think it's all about patience, really, because I'm pretty bearish on those pairs, but those swings could take some time to play out. And the aim of the game is not to jump in too early. It's all about timing. You're trading, a lot of people kind of very strategy orientated and kind of looking for the best strategy in the market. And of course, I think everyone goes through that kind of mentality at some stage within your trading journey. But your strategy isn't necessarily that important, especially as a technical trader. Strategy just your method. In terms of entering the market and your way of exiting the market. But really everything's about timing because the market's going to go up or down regardless of what your strategy is, regardless of the reason of you buying or selling the market. It's going to go up and down. It's just about timing the market well. When you do buy it, when you sell it. And that's why looking at your trades is so important because you can look back and see how your timings are. You typically get into the market too early, too late. You can always amend that. If you're getting into the market too early, simply look to enter a little bit later. Don't be the first person into the market. Try and be a bit more patient. Maybe where your stop loss is, try and see if you can get your entries in those areas. And if you're entering a bit too late, well then maybe there's a bit more fear in your trading. You're a bit more apprehensive, waiting too long. Maybe try and force yourself to try and find some earlier entries. Probably does feel a bit uncomfortable, but that's probably what you need to start doing to get into the market a little bit earlier if you're getting in too late and you're missing the moves. And of course, you only find the answer to that if you look back over your positions. Catalogo, the market is not make sure. I'm not sure what you mean there. Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about there. The market is not to make sure. Yeah, not too sure what you're on about. I will go through my watch list for the remainder of the week. It is only Tuesday, but yeah, I'm going to go through the watch list for the remainder of the week. I've got quite a few on there, a few different types of pairs as well. Probably one of the weeks where I've got more currencies that I'm looking at. But no trades for me so far, but a few I'm keeping a close eye on. So I've gone through most of them. I haven't gone through New Zealand CAD. That's a pair which I'm keeping a very close eye in terms of the shorts. I do feel like a big move to the downside is brewing up for this one, especially in the higher time frames. I do think prices had a multiple attempts to try and break higher here, and essentially the market is just failing. And because we're failing to break higher, well, where are we going to move to the downside most likely? So I do expect us to have a pretty big drop. I'm looking for us to return back into support down here, which is around 0.795, and I'm basically looking to trade it towards that area. Now we've got a support here, which looks to me that price is just broken through. I wouldn't say it's the clearest or cleanest breakout you ever see, but it looks like we are getting to that breakout. I mean, the last time we did close below, but then we did close back above. So kind of waiting for us to really push away first before I do look for opportunities. But the plan is waiting for a more exaggerated breakout, looking for some pullbacks, and then some shorts all the way back down to 0.795. I think we can go even further than that, but I'd be happy to lock in gains there. So New Zealand CAD is definitely a pair I'm keeping a close eye on. It's not quite ready yet, so it's probably one of the reasons why I've talked about it too much. I did mention it yesterday, but it's definitely a pair which I feel like is just getting ready for a big breakout. It's been consolidating for quite a while, and typically the longer the consolidation, or the bigger the consolidation, the bigger the breakout. So I do expect to see quite a lot of momentum with this one, and hopefully once we see the momentum, I can get some pullbacks at some stage. We'll drop to the 4-hour chart. I quite like the look of this support area here. I wouldn't mind actually taking a retest of that area for a trade. Simple break and retest pattern, nothing more complicated than that. And that could hopefully take us back to the lows there, at least give me a decent reaction. So New Zealand CAD, definitely on the watch list, keeping a close eye on that one for some sells. Spoke about the CHF pairs, I'm looking for buys. Aussie CHF, CAD CHF, looking for buys on those ones. I spoke about silver. I quite like the look of some buys for this one as well, around, that's gold. Around the, was it 34.7, I think? Yeah, 34.7. Keep an eye for some sells in the meantime as well. I think there could be some nice shorts for this one. Could be a situation where I sell it to buy it later. That would be nice. Not really too interested with gold. USD pairs, Euro USD, I like the shorts with this one, so that's a pair I'm keeping a close eye on, this level and that level. Pound USD, I like the shorts in on this one as well. Retest of 1.338, so keeping an eye on that. And the Aussie dollar, I like the shorts on this one too. And again, I'm not looking to trade all of these USD pairs either. I've got a few USD pairs which I'm looking at, but I'm just looking to find the better one in terms of which one gives me the better entry, risk reward, and just the setup in general. And then once I pick whichever that one is, I'll just sit with that trade in terms of the USD. I probably won't get into another USD pair until that's kind of already a profitable trade or I'm stopped out. So Aussie dollar shorts look good as well. In terms of the yen, I'm kind of looking at both sides of the coin for the yen. So Aussie yen, I'm keeping an eye for some shorts, but I'm also keeping an eye for some longs as well. And really depending on which setup happens first, whether we pull back and see some rejection up there, well, then I'll be looking to short. Or if we do sell off back into this area, well, I'll be looking to buy then. So it really depends which way we make a move towards. In terms of GJ, keeping a close eye in terms of the shorts there as well. 197, 197.5 look really good to me. I think some shorts off there make a lot of sense. And going to keep an eye on the CAD yen as well. More so for the buys though. I think the sells look good, but I'd rather be in some longs for this one. Around 106. Lovely area of demand, just looking for the retest of that area for a buy. So yeah, those are the yen pairs I'm interested in. So CAD yen, Aussie yen, pound yen, USD, euro, pound, Aussie, and some of the crosses. New Zealand CAD, I quite like the look of. I quite like pound NZD and pound Aussie as well, but they're taking their time. They're still consolidating, so they're on the watch list. But I got a feeling there won't be probably any trades until next week or even the week after next as well. So I'm not too concerned with them just yet. And then of course I like silver and I like the two CHF pairs as well. Danny, yes, we can take a look at BTC. Haven't actually looked at Bitcoin yet today. Okay, so BTC, last time I looked at that one was yesterday. We were looking a little bit bullish for a pullback. Looks like we're sort of in that boat as well. I still do expect more downside for BTC. Of course, you had the lovely breakout of this consolidation. Price dropped pretty heavy there. And looks like price came back for a lovely retest of that level, which was, what, 111? And I was talking about this area here at 109 to watch out for. But yeah, BTC, nice push down. I have talked about the retest of this area for a short. I still stand by that. I think that's a nice area for a pullback into. Roughly this area, 116k. So the plan is for BTC, looking for a bit more upside into that area. And then looking for the drop. A lot of momentum in the move down. This looks to me like it's still very corrective, very slow. Not like we're seeing aggressive bullish momentum. It's a very slow move higher. So that tells me that 116k is likely to hold as resistance. And we can probably see price continue with the backside of that. What I would say is that the whole kind of move to the downside looks pretty corrective to me. So my kind of overall take on BTC is that this is not looking like a reversal. This doesn't look like it's about to start a big bearish trend. This looks to me that price is probably just correctively moving down to eventually see another continuation higher. So I'm pretty still bullish on BTC in the higher time frames. And as we do work our way towards this kind of area, I think looking for buys is the best bet. Of course, we have to wait for price to get there and wait to see how price is reacting. But I would suggest keep a close eye on that area because I think buys make a lot of sense. And from there, we can rally back to these highs and maybe some new highs as well. So yeah, going forward with BTC, pretty bullish. Do expect more upside. At the moment, looking for a sell again. Going back to retest the consolidation, 116k makes the most sense. We're very corrective, so I do think we'll fall. But as we get back to the 111 area, I think there could be some nice buys. Overall, this looks like a really corrective market, which doesn't normally mean a lot of downside. So that's kind of my take there for BTC. Jam, what is up? Hope you're well. Still CAD CHF longs, nice. Where's your target again? Target was 0.588, if I remember correctly. Looks like price just missed it by like a pip or something. Yeah, I mean, I'm still looking to jump into some CAD CHF longs. I didn't quite like the close on the daily yesterday. Momentum didn't pick up as much as I wanted it to. But again, I still think it's a market that is just consolidating, get ready for a big turnaround. So I'm pretty bullish here on CAD CHF. I do think more upside is due, more upside is likely to come. But we've got to be patient. We've got to be very patient, especially when you're looking for a big turnaround like me. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you had targets around 0.588. It looks like we just missed that. I mean, I still expect us to get there, so I don't think it's panic stations. But yeah, that's a little bit annoying there. Okay, yeah, 0.588, 10 pips off, 70 pip move. Nice. I mean, it's been a wicked trade. I think you said you got in at market open. So I think around here somewhere you had an entry. So very, very nice move, I must admit. I'm very much still a bull for CAD CHF. I do think higher prices are likely to come. We are kind of messing around here, so I can see there's some resistance. We're starting to struggle. I think we're going to need a bit of a catalyst to get us going. I think there's actually Swiss unemployment rate later this week. I'm not sure when it is. Might actually be tomorrow. I need to double check. But maybe that could help out some buys for CAD Swiss. But yeah, I would say, sit in the trade. I think maybe if you see some really strong selling pressure kick in, that could be a bit of a sign to maybe close the trade early, because at the end of the day, you caught a 70 pip move. No need to kind of risk an extra 10 pips for the whole 60, 70 pip move you caught there. If things aren't looking too good, if we're seeing some momentum pick up there with the bears, I think closing the trade early makes a lot of sense, really, because price practically has hit the target. You can't always be accurate as possible with trading, to the pip. Sometimes price will miss your target by like 5 pips and turn around against you. I'm very much in the thinking, no need to kind of risk the extra 5-10 pips for the whole trade. Doesn't really make sense. So if things are starting to pick up with the bears, I would suggest close the trade. It's practically at your target. Not every trade is going to be perfect. Nothing wrong closing a little bit early. If we can pick up some momentum between now and the end of the day, then of course you can sit and see. Hopefully you can hit the target. No problem, Danny. Happy to help. Best trade this week so far. I mean, the week's still young, but yeah, wicked trade on CAD Swiss. News 1 hour. Is it the USD news? Oh, CAD news. Balance of trade. Actually, there's USD news as well. That's at we got PMI 245 and services PMI at 3 o'clock. That's UK time, by the way. So there's a couple USD news in about 3 hours time. But yeah, you do have CAD news balance of trade at 1:30. Not the biggest news events. I wouldn't be too worried about that, to be honest. I think just see how price reacts. If momentum starts to pick up, closing trade early doesn't really matter too much, especially when you're so close to your pip target. Vasco, DAX, okay, we can take a look. Breakout to the upside, okay, let's have a look, see. Yeah, it is looking pretty bullish. So yeah, with the DAX, we are coming to a big level. So it's pretty much just what we do at this level here, really. Lovely support, held us in a range for the past few weeks. Of course, last week we broke through that. Now it looks like price is coming back to retest that same level. So depending what we do here, will of course develop into a nice opportunity. If we do break above, if this is like a big fake out, big V-shaped pattern reversal, if that is the case and we do break back above, then yeah, there could be some really nice buy opportunities on the flip, looking to retest that same area. And then we do see some upside off the back of that. And then targets naturally a push back to the high. If price doesn't do that and we start to respect it and we see some rejection, I think this could be a nice place for a short, even potentially a push all the way back into this area. But I would say maybe halfway down, I'd probably start to be a bit cautious of the trade, just because I know that the overall trend for the DAX is still to the upside. So if I'm selling at any point, I'm always going to be a little bit on my toes and being a bit careful, because I understand that the bigger move is probably still to the upside for the DAX. So yes, it's a nice level to short from, but at the same time, the buys can kick in at any point, really. So just being cautious of that. But yeah, the DAX, coming back into some resistance. Be careful of that level. Of course, right now it's still pretty bullish and momentum's picking up. So no signs of rejection just yet, but keep an eye. That could change very quickly. If that doesn't change and price does end up breaking to the upside, well, the buys do look good on the retest. So I'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, it really does depend on what we do at that level, and that will kind of dictate the buys probably for the rest of the week, to be honest, for the DAX. But regardless, lovely momentum. I think whether it's going to be a buy or a sell, I'm kind of liking the opportunities here on the 4-hour chart. No problem, Jam. Happy to help. target 24k. I mean, 24k is kind of roughly in that zone there, not too far away from 24k. But yeah, I mean, 24k is kind of like the resistance level for me, so that's kind of my area of interest in terms of my buys probably for the week. If I do see price reject well, I'll probably be pretty bearish for the remainder of the week. If it does clear it well, then yeah, I'll probably bullish back to 24,500 actually. And at that point, we're looking pretty bullish. Maybe we're probably just going to push back to highs, and that turns into a big fake out. But yeah, the indices are looking quite bullish. I haven't actually looked at NAS, but I would imagine that's looking bullish as well. Yeah, a very nice V-shaped pattern, so I would expect more upside here. I know we're coming into some resistance here. We might see a bit of a sell-off, but because of how aggressive this move has been, I do think naturally NAS is going to push higher as well. When I see these V-shaped patterns, especially in the indices, they do perform pretty well, and they do normally mean business. So I do think NAS is likely going to push higher. S&P, exact same situation there as well. Might correct a little bit, but more upside I'm expecting. And US 30 as well. It would be nice to see a retest of this level. I think that would be a great place for a buy. But again, more upside I'm expecting there too. So indices to me, I'm pretty much bullish. You're bearish in US 30. I mean, I can see some shorts from this area, but I do think with how price has recovered that support level, I'm pretty bullish on this one as well. I know we've had a big drop there, but now that we have recovered this support level, I do think price can bounce. I think shorts around here make sense. I just wouldn't look for a big sell. I can see some downside. Logically, this is a nice place for a short, so I can definitely agree with that. But I just wouldn't look for like a huge move. 43,900 is kind of as far as I would see shorts go. And of course, I can't see into the future. We potentially could go further. But that for me would be an area which I think buys could look good if we can react well. So yeah, US 30 sells, I agree. But only from a short-term perspective. That's kind of what I see. Lower time frame short. I think the bigger move is still with the buyers. I like this area. I was actually expecting us to get here actually last week for US 30 because we were selling off aggressively. I thought price would come back and actually retest this level here. I think that could be look a great place for a buy, especially long term as well. But we had this very strong bullish engulfing candle on Monday, sorry. And yeah, that's kind of changed things up a little bit. Sold in the 4-hour value gap after the break of the 4-hour uptrend. Yeah, again, I can see the logic there. It's just that US 30 after the reaction of Monday has kind of skewed things up for me. I know we've kind of broken through structure here as well, and we've come from a big level of resistance there. So I don't mind the sells. It makes sense. I just don't expect them to go too far. We are coming back into a nice area here, which, again, I do expect a reaction. But I'm pretty bullish on US 30 and pretty much all the other major indices as well. I'm always cautious when I do have a bearish bias with the indices. And if I do short, it's kind of for a very, well, not always for a short time, but I'm always kind of on my toes. And if I see some signs of buyers stepping in, I'm very quick to call the trade. I'm always more comfortable when I'm buying the indices. But yeah, US 30, maybe a bit more downsides, but I quite like the bias from this level. And if that doesn't hold, then yeah, 43k looks good as well. So I'll keep an eye on that level too. But the other indices I'm pretty bullish on. And of course, the XY will have a big part to play. And we're about to get the next 4-hour candle to close in the next 2 minutes. And it looks like it's just going to close as a small body candle here. So yeah, not much to take away here from the DXY. I said there could be some nice buys in the retest of this level if momentum picks up well. To me, it doesn't look like momentum's picked up well, at least now anyway. Of course, the next 4-hour candle, that could be a different story. Doesn't have to be this candle, but for now anyway, it looks like we are still kind of just consolidating here. So maybe if we can pick up, get a strong close on the next candle, that could be the momentum needed to get into some longs and then take it back to the high there. If not, I do have a level slightly below, which I like the look of. So if this level doesn't do the job, then I do have other areas I'm kind of banking on, but I'm very bullish on USD. I'm just looking for an opportunity to buy it, really. So hopefully I can take some opportunities on a pullback, but of course I'm not really looking to trade the dollar. The dollar is just confluence. I'm focusing on euro, I'm focusing on pounds in terms of the shorts, and Aussie dollar as well. Danny, really do appreciate your patience, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It does really help out. And hit the bell as well if you haven't done already, so you don't miss out any streams or uploads in the future. I'm still learning. Just want to know. I just want to ask why you don't sculpt and roughly explain the budget of a swing trader, if okay. Why you don't sculpt and roughly explain the budget of a swing trader? I'm not sure if I understand your question, Danny. Do you mean how much capital you need? Is that what you're asking? Yeah, I'm not too sure what you mean by that question. If you could rephrase that, that would be helpful. Are you asking what the capital required, or? Yeah, I'm not too sure what you mean. Jam, DXY is the king of the market. It's the key. I agree, especially if you focus on a lot of USD markets, even commodities, even the indices as well. Crypto for that matter too. Even some of the crosses as well. A good judge in the DXY can help show you kind of which crosses the trade as well. So yeah, DXY always a good metric to keep tabs on. I don't trade the DXY, but I do keep tabs on it in terms of analysis. Yes, to hold a swing trade, like what do you do? Again, I'm not too sure if I understand your question. I'm gonna have a stab at it, but I'm not too sure if I answer it correctly. Again, it depends really. If you're talking about capital to hold a swing trade, well, again, that really depends on your position size. You can hold a swing trade with 0.01 lots if you want to. Of course, your return won't be that much, but you could effectively take a swing trade with 0.01. It really does depend on the capital you have in your account, and also your stop loss size and how long you're looking to hold it for. The beautiful thing about trading is that it's very unique. Depending on your situation, how much capital you have, how long you want to hold your trades, you can do it to whatever situation that suits you really. Of course, the more capital, the better, but we don't always have access to infinite amounts of capital. So if you're talking about capital or swing trades, again, you can swing trade with $100 in your account. If you had to, so there is no kind of minimum, I would say, apart from maybe like $100. You probably need about $1,000 if you want to do it effectively in terms of managing risk well. But again, if you don't have that, it's not the end of the world. If you're talking about technique to swing trade in terms of technical analysis, I do have videos on the channel. I mean, we're coming up to the end of the stream today, but if you come in the stream tomorrow, I can go through some trades I've taken and kind of break that down. But if you go to my Forex education playlist, you can find more videos about swing trading there. Again, I don't really understand your question. That's just kind of me having a stab at it. If I haven't understood it, if I haven't answered it well, you can always message me on Discord. If not, ask again tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I'm a bit sharper. But anyway, guys, we have come up to the end of the stream. I hope you have found it useful and enjoyed it. If that's the case, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe before you do leave. It does really help out. And of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. I will be live again tomorrow, as I just mentioned, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you're free, pop in, come say hi, come chat with us. I'm live every day this weekday anyway. So yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the content, drop a like before you do leave. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you all tomorrow.
Introducing Zentrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zentrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zentrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.